What's good, y'all? So today I'm back. Finally, you know what I'm saying? I'm back and I'm doing my annual playoff predictions. I'm gonna start with the Eastern Conference because since that's the weaker conference, and then I'll be back to do the Western Conference either tomorrow or the next day. But nonetheless, let's just jump right into these Eastern Conference playoff predictions. Now, this year I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna give you my top 8 teams, and this is all assuming health, of course. But at the end, I'll throw in some bubble teams that I feel like could make the playoffs, but I'm not sure yet. So coming in at number one, you got the Philadelphia 76ers, of course. I mean, they're always a good regular season team. Another thing, that's because they're number one. That doesn't mean I think that they're the best team in the East or that they're gonna come out of the East. So just a disclaimer, but yeah, they're always a good regular season team. I feel like they just play well during the regular season. They have the star power to win games, and yeah, man, it's adding Josh Richardson. Even though they kind of went down, Jimmy Butler is definitely a better player than him. But to me, that's a good return for losing Jimmy Butler. You keep Tobias Harris. You add Al Horford to help Joel Embiid on that defensive end, and yeah, they should be the best team. I think they'll win about upper 50s. Like that's how many games they'll win. Just because they just have that star power. Then their bench is pretty solid. I mean, it's not the best or nothing, but they have a pretty solid bench. So yeah, I think they'll be number one in the East. Coming in at number two, last year's number one seed, the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't think they got any worse, but to me, they just didn't do much to get better. They didn't really, if I'm not mistaken, sometimes stuff slips my mind. Hold on. They did add Wesley Matthews and Kyle Korver and Robin Lopez, but to me, those are just minuscule moves. I don't know if Kyle Korver even played that often. I mean, he'll probably get some key minutes, but Robin Lopez, I feel like he's a great backup big man. Don't let me downplay him, but I don't think that'll affect it enough for them to move up into the number one seed. And I don't get me wrong, if they are the number one seed, I won't be surprised at all because they did it just last year. So I'm not saying they can't be the number one seed, but that's just not who I think is. You know what I'm saying? But they're still a great team. I still have them winning upper 50s, just like Philly. I think it'll be a very close race, but I just picked Philly to be number one. And I do think Milwaukee will be the team that comes out of the East this year, not Philadelphia. I just think in the regular season, Philadelphia will be a better team than them. Coming in at number three, we have the Indiana Pacers. Now, to me, the Indiana Pacers probably have one of the top 3 to 4 best off seasons this year. They added Jeremy Lamb, they added T.J. Warren, they added Malcolm Brogdon, and they also added Justin Holiday. These are all great players. Not great, I ain't gonna say great players, but solid players. Malcolm Brogdon, I feel like is a great player, and they're above average players definitely to me. And yeah, man, they just got a lot better. Even though they lost Bogdanovich, I feel like they more than replaced him with these 4 players. And of course, Victor Oladipo will be returning. Hopefully, he can return to his most improved player form. But even if he doesn't, I feel like that's good enough for them to be the number 3 seed in the East, especially if Miles Turner keeps playing the way he plays on the defensive end and can just give them a little bit more on the offensive end. I feel like that'll be great for them. So, yeah, I got them coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 4, you got the Boston Celtics. Now, Boston, in my eyes, I won't say they got worse, but I also won't say they got better. They lost Al Horford and Kyrie, of course. They did add Kemba, which is great. Like that's almost like the same thing. If you like, that's the closest to what you're gonna get to Kyrie, unless you got like somebody better. But yeah, they added Kemba, so that's good. They added Enes Kanter. That's solid. You know what I'm saying? I've always liked Enes Kanter. He's just a good energy player, a good player on the rebounds. Can score. I mean, he's getting better at defense, but still not that great of a defender. But he definitely gives you offense and rebounds, so that's great. And I just got to see how their rookies pan out. You know what I'm saying? They got Grant Williams, Carson Edwards, Romeo Langford, and Taco Fall. I'm not even sure if he's like on their roster officially, but I'm pretty sure he is. But yeah, if he not, oh well. But Yeah, I just have to see how their rookies do. You know what I'm saying? Of course they have Marcus Smart. Hopefully Jason Tatum can go back to his form, I guess, from what we last saw in the Eastern Conference Finals. But if he has another season like last year, I'm not sure if. I mean, I still think they'll be number 4, but I'm not sure if they'll really make too much noise in the playoffs because they're kind of. Well, I don't know. I'm not a Boston Celtics fan, so I don't know what route they're trying to go. But from what I see, and I watch a lot of basketball, I feel like they're trying to groom him to being into their number 1 option. But he's gonna have to do a little bit better than what he did last year. You know what I'm saying? He definitely had a sophomore slump, but after that, usually they usually go back to their form. So we're hoping that he could do that. And yeah, I have the Celtics at number 4. Coming in at number 5, I have the Brooklyn Nets. Now, of course, Kevin Durant won't be there all season, so we got to add that in there. If he was there, they would probably be my number 1 team or 2 maybe. I mean, I'm not sure. But I definitely would have them coming out of the East if he was there, but of course he isn't. So even with him going, I feel like Kyrie Irving can get them to the number 5 seed. They still have Karis LeVert, still have Spencer Dinwiddie, still have Jared Allen. DeAndre Jordan is going to be their backup, I would think. I mean, I hope they don't start him over Jared Allen, but that's neither here nor there. They picked up Taurean Prince. They still have Joe Harris. So this is a pretty deep team on the wing. And even in the big man area, they're pretty solid. So I feel like they're pretty balanced all around, honestly. So they have a pretty good roster. I mean, I think it's going to be some growing pains, of course, with Kyrie coming there, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like he will definitely like this team better than he liked that Celtics team. And that'll just cause him to play better, honestly. So I feel like they can make some noise. And even though they're at number 5, I don't think none of these teams want to see them in the playoffs because that'll be right when they're kind of getting to know each other and really getting everything down. So that'll be a scary team to play for anybody in the playoffs. So yeah, Brooklyn at number 5. Coming in at number 6, I have the Toronto Raptors. Now, I know they did lose Kawhi and they did lose Danny Green, but I just feel like this team is coached well by Nick Nurse, and I feel like they'll just bounce back. I mean, everybody thinks they're probably not going to be so good, which I kind of think so too. You know what I'm saying? This right around this area is where it gets to like, will this team make the playoffs? Won't they? You know what I'm saying? But we just gonna have to see. I think Toronto will make it pretty easily and pretty handily, but we just gonna have to see. You know what I'm saying? They still have Marcus Gasol, still got Kyle Lowry. We got to see if Pascal Siakam can really be that defender and score when he's like the number 1 option. You know what I'm saying? Because when you the number 2 option, people kind of overlook you because they're worried about like Kawhi Leonard as of last year. You know what I'm saying? But now that he's kind of their number 1 option, it's gonna be fun to see like whether he can continue doing those things or will he kind of regress. So if he can step up and be that number 1 option that they need, I feel like the Toronto Raptors will easily make the playoffs, and they might even be higher than number 6. But as of right now, we haven't seen him in that option, so that's why I have them at number 6. Coming in at number 7, we have the Orlando Magic. Now, I know the Orlando Magic don't have like a superstar or nothing like that, but first of all, let's remember this is the East, and they do have a star, I would say, in Nikola Vucevic. Their team pretty much stayed the same, honestly, so I don't see why they won't be good. I mean, they picked up Al-Farouq Amino, and they got Markelle Fultz, which I'm not sure if he's going to play or what. I don't know what's going on with him nowadays, but yeah, I mean, I think Aaron Gordon will take a big step this year. Honestly, he's a player that I've always liked and I've always thought had like great potential, so I'm looking forward to seeing him take that step. I think Mo Bamba will take a step this year. And I think they'll just be very good defensively. They have very long balls, people. So I feel like they still have Michael Carter Williams. They still have Evan Fournier, you know what I'm saying? So Evan Fournier is a good scorer, and Michael Carter Williams is a good backup point guard, which I don't know if he'll be even playing. It all depends on Markelle Fultz. We just got to see. But I feel like this team has the potential to be like great defensively. So I think they'll still make the playoffs. But like I said, around this area, it gets to a lot of teams where it's like they could, but they also could be pretty bad. So we just have to see. And I'm going to get to those other teams in a minute, but let's go on to our number 8, Magic at 7. And coming in at number 8, I have the Detroit Pistons. Now, Detroit made a few sneaky moves. They picked up Derrick Rose, which I think that's a great addition. I know Derrick Rose isn't his same self from previous years, but I feel like that's a great pickup for them. They also added Tony Snell, which is a good wing defender. You know what I'm saying? He always get joked on for having that game where he didn't do anything, but he's a good wing defender. Also can space the floor and shoot. And they also drafted Sekou Doumbouya or Doumbouya. I don't know how to say his last name, but yeah, they drafted him, and he was pretty. He was looked upon as a pretty good player. So I think they made some sneaky good moves. I don't think it's gonna make too much of a difference, but I think it will make a little difference. You know what I'm saying? And just it'll allow them to stay in the playoffs, which is crazy because those 8 teams all were in the playoffs last year. The order was just a little different, but I feel like the playoffs will stay the same as far as the teams. But now let's get on to the teams that I feel like could make it, but also could be pretty bad, where we just gonna have to see. So they're kind of like bubble teams. Let's get to them. The first team I have on the bubble is Chicago, the Chicago Bulls. And it's crazy because I picked them last year to make the playoffs, and they just did me bad, you know what I'm saying? But this year they picked up Thaddeus Young. They drafted a point guard in Kobe White, and they also got Thomas Satoransky. They drafted Daniel Gafford, which is a big man from Arkansas. And I just think they could be pretty good if Zach LaVine continues to do what he does. Lauri Markkanen, if he gets better, you know what I'm saying? Which he's been good, but they're young, so I feel like they can keep increasing their talent and their play. And if they all play well, this will be Otto Porter's first full year with the Bulls, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like they're a really deep team and talented, but we just gonna have to see because they can also be pretty bad, man. So we'll see. I think they're a bubble team. If they made the playoffs, I would not be surprised at all. So we'll just have to see, man. But that's the first bubble team. The second bubble team I have is Miami. Now, you always have to keep Miami on the bubble because they're coached very, very well. You know what I'm saying? They almost lost Goran Dragic, but he's returning. They picked up Jimmy Butler, which is an upgrade from Josh Richardson. They still have Bam. They lost Hassan Whiteside, but I mean, they weren't playing him anyway, so that pretty much doesn't affect them. And I just feel like this is a good team. Justice Winslow is still going up. You know what I'm saying? He's trending up in his career, and he's starting to find his role in the NBA and on the Miami Heat. So I feel like they could be a pretty good team. But also, like I said, they could be bad. I don't think they could be like super bad, but they could not make the playoffs. So yeah, man, we'll just have to see. I know I keep saying that a lot, but I'm excited. It's probably the most excited I've ever been for an NBA season, man. But that's the second bubble team, which is the Miami Heat. Third and final bubble team I have is the Atlanta Hawks. Now, the reason I put the Atlanta Hawks up here is because Trae Young, he's really high on my radar. I feel like he's probably like gonna be one of those players, not like the greatest of all time, nothing like that, but I feel like he could really be a top point guard in this league for a long time. So him, they had a great draft this year. They drafted like that. They probably had the best draft in my eyes. They got DeAndre Hunter from Virginia. They got Cam Reddish, which I'm very high on. And they also got one more player. Who is it? They didn't get one more player. I was thinking about a rookie, but it was Kevin Huerter that I was thinking about because he's young as well. Like, they're all young. That's why I was thinking they drafted somebody else, but that's my fault. But yeah, they got Trae Young, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, Kevin Huerter, John Collins. I just think this team is really going to be able to run and get up and down the floor, and they all can shoot. You know what I'm saying? They picked up Jabari Parker, which I know he's been looked upon as like a team killer or something, but I feel like he's a good player. You know what I'm saying? He can give you like a solid 15 points or something. So yeah, I just really like this team. You know what I'm saying? They might be weak defensively, but then again, these wings that they just picked up in the draft, they're kind of known for playing defense as well. So I'm just excited to see this team play. I'll probably be watching this team a lot on League Pass this year. So we'll see if they make the playoffs. Y'all heard it here first, you know what I'm saying? But also, I wouldn't be surprised. But if they're bad, I also wouldn't be surprised. So that's why I call these teams like bubble teams, because it's like they can be good, but they also can be horrible. And with either one, I won't be surprised. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for watching this video. That's all for today. I'll be back with the Western Conference, which should be fun. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.